On the morning of her 36th birthday, Abimbola woke up with a quiet hope. She had everything a woman could ask for: a successful career, a beautiful home, and a life filled with purpose. But as she sat alone, staring at the flickering candles on her cake, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. The call came just as she was about to blow out the candles. It was her mother, calling all the way from Nigeria. The words were familiar, but they stung just the same. "Abimbola, when will you bring a husband home? Your younger siblings are married with children. What will people say?" Tears streamed down her face as she hung up the phone. She had prayed for love, for companionship, for someone to share her life with. But as the years passed, the pressure grew heavier, and the loneliness deeper. "God," she whispered, "I've done everything right. Why is this one thing so hard?" Abimbola was a woman of strength and grace. As a registered nurse, she dedicated her life to caring for others. But at 36, she couldn't escape the whispers of her community. "She's too picky," they said. "She's too independent." Even her closest friends, though well-meaning, couldn't understand why she was still single. But Abimbola hadn't given up on love. She believed that God would send her the right man, someone who would cherish her, respect her, and share her faith. One Sunday morning, at a Bible study in her church, she met Kayode. He was handsome, charming, and Yoruba just like her. He seemed to tick all the boxes her mother and society had set for her. "Hello, my name is Kayode," he said, his voice smooth and confident. Abimbola smiled, feeling a spark of hope for the first time in years. At first, Kayode seemed perfect, but as the weeks passed, cracks began to show. He had a temper that flared without warning, and he often made her feel small for her success. Still, Abimbola held on, hoping that love could change him. After all, he was Yoruba, Christian, and everything her mother had prayed for. Meanwhile, at the hospital where Abimbola worked, she met Ray. He was the son of one of her patients, Mrs. Anna, kind, elderly woman who adored Abimbola. Ray was different from anyone she'd ever known. He was attentive, generous, and his kindness came without conditions. One day, fate brought them together again outside a mall. Ray asked her out for coffee, and they talked for hours. He listened to her in a way no one else had, and for the first time in a long time, Abimbola felt seen. But she quickly reminded herself that Ray was Caucasian. Her parents would never approve, and she was already in a relationship with Kayode. Still, Ray's presence lingered in her mind, a quiet reminder of what love could feel like. As her relationship with Kayode grew more toxic, Abimbola found herself drawn to Ray's calm and steady presence. But the weight of tradition held her back. How could she choose a man her family would never accept? One night, after a particularly painful argument with Kayode, Abimbola made a decision. She couldn't keep sacrificing her happiness for the sake of tradition. With trembling hands, she ended the relationship, but the guilt and shame were overwhelming. She called Ray, and without hesitation, he came to her side. "You don't have to change who you are for anyone," Ray told her. "The right person will love you for you." His words struck a chord deep within her. For the first time, Abimbola began to question whether she'd been living for herself or for everyone else. When her mother came to visit, the pressure reached its peak. "How can you throw away your culture for a white man?" her mother demanded. Abimbola felt torn between the love she deserved and the expectations she'd carried for so long. In the end, Abimbola chose herself. She stood up to her mother, not with anger, but with love. "Mama," she said, "I deserve to be happy. And Ray makes me happy." Ray, too, went above and beyond to show his commitment. He learned a few words in Yoruba and even cooked a traditional Nigerian dish. Slowly, her mother began to see what Abimbola had seen all along, that love knows no boundaries. And so, Abimbola found her happily ever after, not in the man her family expected, but in the man who loved her for who she was. It wasn't the path she'd imagined, but it was the one that led her to true happiness. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories are the ones that defy tradition and embrace truth. What would you do in Abimbola's shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe for more original stories like this one.